Planning and decision-making are among the key elements of effective management. It is essential for managers to be familiar with the basic principles of planning and decision-making. Planning can be defined as the process of thinking ahead and preparing for the future. Decision-making, on the other hand, is the process of making a choice or identifying and selecting a course of action from various alternatives. In management, these are integral parts of ensuring the smooth running of a business or company. The importance of proper decision-making and planning cannot be overstated, as they play a vital role in the success or failure of a business. Many companies and businesses have achieved immense success through ethical decision-making and planning, while some other businesses have gone out of business due to lack of adequate planning and poor decision-making. Both decision-making and planning require an objective thought process. To better understand these issues, we will examine them separately. Planning. Planning is a task performed at all levels of management. Organizational planning is essential for goal setting. It requires critical thinking and the mental process of putting ideas together. Through planning, an organization can identify its goals and the means to achieve them. It is therefore obvious that goals and plans go hand in hand. Every organization depends on goal setting to achieve its purpose, and planning is the fundamental aspect of goal setting. Planning can be proactive or reactive, short-term or long-term, depending on the issue at hand. The basic principle of planning is to organize a set of guidelines to determine the course of future actions. In organizational planning, some steps should be followed to have a definitive plan. Let's briefly examine some of the necessary processes. 1. Identify the goal. This is the first process of planning. The goal of the plan should be determined first, whether the process will be long-term or short-term. The objective should be clear and valid. It should also be understandable and show the action to be taken and the expected result. One of the modern management techniques for setting goals is SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic and time-bound. 2. Projection of the plan. After the goal of the plan has been established, the next step is to develop a speculative estimate of how the goal can be achieved. During this process, all the important factors to achieve the goal should be evaluated. Factors such as strengths, weaknesses, resources. More and more companies are beginning to use the SWOT analysis method as a useful planning tool. SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. 3. Investigation of options. This process involves the investigation of all available means to achieve the goal of the plan and to determine the best course of action. These options are given due consideration so that the most productive approach can be selected. This process usually involves brainstorming and information analysis. In large organizations, meetings and consultations are held during this process. 4. Evaluation of viable options. This process involves evaluation of all options considered, such as the risk, cost, availability of required resources, expectations and duration of tasks involved, etc. 5. Selecting the best option. After a careful and critical evaluation, the next step is to select the most feasible option based on all the factors considered. In some cases, more than one plan is chosen just in case the original plan does not work. This is usually referred to as a plan B or backup plan. 6. Implementation. This is the final process that involves action. Decision-making helps managers address problems or identify opportunities and take the appropriate action to either solve the problem or realize an opportunity. Decision-making can be either programmed or non-programmed depending on the situation. Both are necessary for effective management of an organization. Programmed decisions are usually one-time decisions made to deal with routine or recurring situations. A programmed decision is made using standard operating procedures based on circumstances that have been repeated often enough for a manager to initiate a permanent solution that will be applied to all future related occurrences. For example, a manager may decide to implement a payroll deduction as a disciplinary action when he or she has observed that employee tardiness is rampant. If such inconsistencies by employees go unchecked, they could affect the work progress and overall performance of the company. Unprogrammed decisions are decisions made in unusual situations or non-repetitive events. They are mainly used to deal with emergencies and unexpected problems. These decisions are made based on the analysis and evaluation of an issue or problem and then trying to find the most appropriate solution or decision to be made. An example of an unprogrammed decision is when a manager finds that product sales are down, he might decide to start a temporary advertising campaign to increase sales. Steps in decision making. 1. Identify or determine the situation that requires a decision. 2. Identify the objective of the decision. 3. Gather relevant information and deliberate on the case. 4. Generate options based on available data or resources. 5. Weigh and evaluate the options. 6. Select the most practical choice from the variable options. 7. Implement the decision. 8. Evaluate the result of the decision. There you have it. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.